Hi everybody. Today we are going to study from Matthew chapter 7 verse 24 to 27, and then we get into Luke 6 verses 47 49, and Proverbs 24 verses 3 to 5 is about the wise and foolish builders. And some people may call it the house you build on the rock. So here we go. So we are like Matthew 7, I'm going to verse 24. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. Okay, so who is the author of this? Who's talking? Is Jesus. So he is saying that who hears his words and puts them in the practice. And we have lots of words he talked. Not everything was recorded in the Bible, unfortunately. Then will be wise. Like a wise man that built his house on the rock. I know these days we don't actually build our houses on the rock physically, but we make sure that whenever we build a house, it's approved and it's not going to sink or has like lots of water coming into the house. Imagine. So has to be a land that it's pretty much flat and is away from water and all that. It's safe. So let's keep going. Verse 25. The rain came down, the stream rose, and the winds blew and beat against the house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. All right. So now we are looking at this verse. We go two different ways. So we go the physical way and we go the spiritual way, okay? Let's go on the physical way. All right, so we see the house that is built on the rock, on the solid foundation. The rain will come down and the streams will rise and the wind will blow and beat against the house, but nothing will fail. Because why? Because its foundation is on the rock, is on the solid ground, okay? All right, we got that. Let's go back, still in 25, and put in a spiritual round, okay? Now the... spiritually, it's a little bit different, all right? So the house is us, all right? We are built up like our soul. It's our house, okay? And we are built on, and then is what rock is also Jesus. You build your house, your soul on the rock. On the foundation is built on the rock. That Jesus is your foundation, and you will never be shaken. Okay. And this says the rain came down. So just say that your soul, rain. What is rain actually? Okay. Rain could be any problems that arise around you. Rain, I would say, could be like depression. When it's raining, some people, they get depressed. Rain, the stream rose, the winds blew. The winds, I will say, those are evil coming against you and beat against your house, which is your soul. Yet you did not shake in your soul. Nothing happened. You did not be in mental facility as a patient. You weren't shaken at all because your foundation is Jesus the rock. So I hope you understand this. So let's keep moving on. Yet it did not fall because, so we are in verse 26. But everyone who hears these words of mine, which is Jesus' words, and does not put them into practice, is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. Unfortunately, sand. Think about you build a house on sand. Think about when you went to the ocean, if you ever did, you had the chance to go to the ocean and build a little castle when you were a little one, or maybe with your kids. You build on the shore, of course. And what happened? Well, the water came, the waves came in, rushing in, and destroyed it. It was sand. It will not stand. And on any other things we'll build our soul up into it, it will not stand up. In the spiritual, you can do whenever, you still, people, they still fell apart if they don't build themselves up in Jesus to be their foundation. And why we have to build ourselves strong, so because any bad news we have, and you can get news, anytime bad news will come, that the bad news will not move it to shake, probably may shake a little bit your ground, but will not destroy it. More like an earthquake, will probably shake it, will not destroy it. But anything that is on the sand, of course, just a little bit of wave will get that sand down completely to the ground. And it says like a rain will come, imagine like rain comes, just say like on the beach and you build a castle, rain comes down. What happened to the sand is goes back to the flat ground, it's down. It likes more like melts inside in there. Also, I'll say on the rock, build your marriage on the rock. Rock is Jesus. Just say, for example, one has the foundation in Jesus, believes in Jesus, does everything, reads the words, nourish himself or herself with the words of God daily, and builds himself up in Jesus. But the other one is the opposite, builds their foundation on the sand. And it's more like going for idols, does other things, it doesn't believe in Jesus, and you pair them up in marriage, that marriage will not stand. The foundation is not solid. One side is going to always fall off, unfortunately. So think about that when you make decisions in that regard. And also build your business on the rock, with the words of God, praying, and make sure you have even your whoever signs, with you, anything about the business and all that, they're people of God that you can trust. So all this can go on and on. And I know we have the, in Luke 6 as well. We have, let me see. So Luke 6, chapter 6, verses 47 to 49. 47, there you go. So it says, As for everyone who comes to me and hears my words and puts them into practice, I will show you what they are like. They are like a man building a house who dug down deep and laid the foundation on the rock. When a flood came, the torrent struck that house but could not shake it because it was well built. But the one who hears my words and does not put them into practice is like a man who built a house on the ground without the foundation. The moment the torrent struck that house, it collapsed and its destruction was complete. Unfortunately. So let's keep going. So as we are in verse 27. So we are there is talking about the house that was built on the sand. Okay, so let's go back to 26. But everyone who hears the words of mine and does not put them into practice, you not just hear it, you have to be a doer, not a hearer only. So for example, you hear the words of God, you read the Bible, follow, do what is more like an instruction manual for you, for your life. But it says, but everyone who hears the words of mine and does not put them into practice, like a foolish man who builds his house on the sand. 27, the rain came down and streams rose and the winds blew and beat against the house and it fell with a great crash. Wow. A great crash, not just a little one, it was a great crash. Unfortunately. And because you don't have because people, I'll say in general, the foundation is not in Jesus, they crash very fast. Also, we are in Proverbs 24, verse 3 to 5. By wisdom, a house is built. By wisdom, a house is built. It's built like even physically or spiritually. If you build your entire, like your soul, you're built with wisdom. You follow the instruction from the Bible, because God gives you lots of instructions from there. Is a big Bible and lots of words and lots of things to follow. So what it says in Proverbs 24 verse 3, by wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. Because you have wisdom and you understand and you establish your, like let's just say your soul, you build your soul up with wisdom, because you have wisdom. And if not, ask God to give you wisdom. Verse 4, through knowledge, its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. So in the soul, there are many rooms. I'm not sure if you guys, I had a dream about it. And it showed me what I have in each room and what I treasure in each room. In one of the rooms were my kids, because I have, your soul is pretty much is called heart as well in the Bible. When it says heart, it's about your soul, which your soul is composed from mind, will, and emotions. So in one of my rooms in my, I would say my heart, but it's a spiritual one. It's not my physical heart. Even the physical heart has 4 chambers there. But in my room, in my spirit, I had a room when I treasure my kids. So, and it says in Proverbs, very interesting, through knowledge, its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. And whenever you hold into your heart is what you have. If you went through the knowledge. So he says wisdom first, and then you have knowledge. Knowledge comes by the word of God. You read the Bible, you get knowledgeable. It's like, oh, I didn't know that. Now I know I shouldn't do that. And even with this Bible study we're doing, like, well, I didn't know I didn't follow the Bible. I was reading the Bible, but I didn't action on it. I didn't do nothing about it. Now, it says that you have to put them in the practice. So if you don't have knowledge, ask God for it. If you don't have wisdom, ask God for it. Why? Because it says through knowledge, its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. If you have the knowledge. You can go one more, verse 5. The wise prevail through great power. Well, where the power comes from is the power of God, of course. And those who have knowledge master their strength. The wise prevail through great power. Yes, because whenever comes I had situations before that I was surrounded by my enemies, well, in the spirit. And I was reciting from the Proverbs and from the Psalms. And I ended up memorizing Psalm 23 because that always came handy. Because sometimes I would say, even though I'm in the shadow of death, I fear no evil. So that always sustained me, pulled me up back on my feet. Because if he says, like, even though I'm in the shadow of the death, which are probably the shadow, it's close, but it's not. I was probably close, and so many times God pulled me away. Or prevent things to happen that could happen. And that's a great power, I was pulled away, as it says in this proverb. So what do we take from this lesson? I would say build yourself, build your soul. And if a physical house, of course, that would be, I don't think an architect will go on the sand and says, okay, sir, ma'am, how do you want your house? How big you want your house? You say you want it on the sand? Oh, sure, I will build it. That will never happen. We know that. That will never happen. But it's always inspected and it's measured. An architect will make sure and everything is built right, that will not fall apart. And in the spiritual, when you build yourself and get wisdom, knowledge, understanding, how to build yourself up and remain strong, like a house that is built on the stone, on the rock, that will not be shaken. No matter what, if the rain comes, the wind blows, which are the enemies coming with different kind of weapons towards us. And sometimes you feel like, you see tornadoes coming and wipe us, wipe the whole house. But that tornado may come beside you, will not come towards you. And if it comes, will not pull you away. Because it's going to be weakened when it comes towards you. It's going to be weaker, weaker, weaker. Because God, you have that power in you that sustains you. And plus, you nourish your soul with the words of God every day. and you are nourished. You are not weak because you nourish your soul every day with the words of God. The weak is the one that doesn't nourish himself or herself. I know we're getting pulled with this life, but sometimes we have to stop what we are doing and nourish ourselves, nourish our soul. As you nourish your body, your physical body, you have to nourish your soul as well with the words of God. Praise God, lift yourself up to God. And it's what we take away from this Bible study. We got to lift ourselves up to God. We got to build ourselves up like a strong rock that will not be movable in any way. Our house will be on the stone, on the rock, who is Jesus, is the rock. Nobody can move Jesus. If you build your house, your soul on the rock. Nobody will move your marriage. Nobody would separate your marriage if you build it on Jesus. Unless somebody falls on the other direction, or one or both of you, but should not, because both of you are strong and you can take it to the end. So I think that concludes our Bible study for today. I hope you take something with you today. And I says, if you don't have wisdom, knowledge, understanding, ask God for it. Wisdom is the most important in order to move on. And I enjoy this teaching as much. I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoy it. Until next time, I say goodbye. Goodbye now.